Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In the previous videos I showed you on how you can create a new account on the board, also how you can get a 30-day free trial, and then a step-by-step process on how you can set it up. And I also mentioned that we do have documentation. Now if we go to get started, this video is going to be about this override triggers section. This is going to show you on how you can override like default values that you set in the connection. So if we go to boards and we open up this Blofin board, we do have one open trigger, which is this one, and then with the specific ID you can see right here. Now I'm going to show you on how you can add extra parameters to that trigger ID. So for example, we can do something like this here at the bottom, and I'm going to show you exactly on how to do it, but we can go and add another trigger quantity value in there. So then instead of using what we've said here, which is like $40, we can then set it to maybe use like percentage and then 30% of our wallet without having to go and change the trigger ID itself. Now this was requested by a lot of Discord members because it's more like our previous boards where we didn't have the trigger IDs, but having a trigger ID make it a lot simpler for people who don't want to mess around with all these settings. So if you're new to the trading stuff and you don't really want to mess around or have a bit of room for error, then I would say stick to the normal trigger execute ways, the ones that I've shown you in the other video. So you just create your trigger and connect it to TradingView. Now if you're a bit more advanced and you want to customize this more to your liking, then this is going to show you on how to do that. On my screen you can now see that on the right side we have Blofin open, and then on the left side we have TradingView. Now I'm going to show you how you can do this with a trigger from TradingView. So I got this indicator called webhook tester, and this is what I use to simulate like trigger alerts on TradingView. It just makes it easier to immediately show you what will happen when an alert fires. So I'm going to go ahead and click on add a new alert, and we should get this pop-up. I'm going to just check this is going to be changed. So you're going to find this webhook URL if you go to the board and you go to boards. We can just find it right here. So you can say copy webhook URL, paste that in there, and then we can go back to our settings. So now you're going to be selecting the indicator or strategy that you're using. I'm going to select the webhook tester. I'm going to set this only once because I don't want it to continuous fire. I just want to make it a trigger and then show you what will happen. So if we go to our trigger open on the board, we can see we have this trigger from $40 and 10x leverage. So if we go ahead and manually open this position, we should get the request that the board received it. And then if we go to the exchange, we can scroll down here to the bottom, and we can see we currently have that trade that opened, and this is with 10x leverage. So we know that our trigger worked the way we set it up on the board itself. But what happens if I want to change that trigger to maybe like 5x leverage? So I'm going to close this order right here. You can just click on close, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to change I'm going to go back. I'm going to copy that trigger ID right there. I'm going to go to my alert and paste in this, right? So on the documentation that we have, we know what we can change. Like if you want to go through all of these individual triggers you can change. So for example, like the leverage value or the type. I did leave examples as well here at the bottom for both futures and spot, since each one would have different functionalities. But if you're looking for doing it on futures, so we can see that we can change the leverage value or the type. I'm going to be changing the leverage value to 3. Now keep in mind the types that it requires. For this is going to be an integer, so it's going to be like 1, 2, 3 or whatever. I'm going to be using 3 as well as shown in this example. So if we go back here, I can add a new, I can say comma, put this in quotations, and then I'm just going to put 3. So this needs to be valid JSON, and if you don't know if it's valid or not, you can use tools online, or you can just wait until you see like this green tick box, which means that it is valid. Now if I'm going to be opening up this trigger now, we should not be seeing 10x leverage on Blofin. We should see it open up with 3x leverage. So I'm going to create this, and we just wait for that to trigger once it's been created. So we should see it trigger as soon as the price move. Okay, so right there we can see we got the alert, and then we can just wait for it to open the order, and now you can see it took the new value of 3x and not the one that we set on the board. So here we had it on 10x like the first order that I opened, but because we are passing that a new value in the alert, it then used that. So we can see that we added trigger leverage value at 3, and that is why on the exchange we can see this order with 3x. So now this is a very simple way of, if you know hard coding these triggers in your scripts, you can just go and change these values. So it basically opens up with different values, then you don't have to go and create separate triggers. Now, I hope you guys find this video useful, and again, you can find all of that in the documentation, because this is going to show you exactly on what you need to look out for and how to do this. So if you might, do something wrong or not add the names correctly, for example, if you go and make a spelling mistake in the trigger underscore leverage type, and you might say like types or something, or you forget like these underscores, the bot would use the default value that you've set on the trigger initially. But if you add a wrong format in here, then it might throw an error completely. Because if the bot expects a string value and you give it like a float, it might not know what to do with that. So there's a lot of edge cases on this, and I can't like test everything at this moment, but I am testing it as well. But if you're following along with the documentation, you should be able to get it working completely fine. Now, yeah, again, if you guys have any questions, you can join the Discord. I will leave a link to everything in the description of this video, and I hope I'll see you in the next one.